It's a message so simple, but a task desperate, with a clock ticking down, and if unsuccessful, potentially lethal consequences.
They're searching, the houses, they're looking for the interpreters' families.
These are former interpreters, protesting at the Home Office today for sanctuary for their colleagues still in Afghanistan, having endured sacrifice not just for their own flag, but for the UK's too.
They call us infidels because we work with the army. It's really simple, like you can be killed anytime, also for our families, because this is something else. This is the risk is going to our families, our loved one.
Talib shows us pictures of his two brothers lying in hospital beds with graphic wounds. Shot, he says, because of the job he did. If they can't leave the country, he says, it's him who'll have to board a plane.
I will go back to Afghanistan and stay in front of my family and requesting them, okay, I'm the one who worked with the ISAF, with the British Army, I'm the infidel. I was you people thinking I'm the spy. Kill me, but leave my family alive. That may be the only one last decision I have.
To sacrifice yourself to the Taliban?
I'm the only one person will die, so let me die. Why should I sacrifice small children? So it's better to kill my own self. At least they'll be alive.
The decision for meaningful help, though, won't be made on this street in this building. It will be made here by President Biden. The plea from the UK ahead of a G7 meeting tomorrow: extend the deadline for troop withdrawal.
I will tell them that we'll see what we can do. Look, we are working closely with the G7. I've spoken with most of the leaders of G7. I'll be doing a conference with them, I think Tuesday, I'm not certain. And we'll have that discussion. But we already have helped get out diplomats from other countries. We've already helped get out citizens from other countries, and we'll continue to do that.
So tomorrow, the all-important G7 meeting. Today, soft diplomacy. This footage tweeted out by the Ministry of Defence with a not-so-subtle message. The armed forces of the US and UK are working side by side in Kabul to secure the airport and help civilians to safety. As for maintaining this airport without the US, simply not possible, according to the Defence Secretary.
It's really important for people to understand the United States have over 6,000 people in Kabul airport, and when they withdraw, that will take away the framework that has allowed us to withdraw, and we will have to go as well. I don't think there is any likelihood on staying on after the United States. If their timetable extends even by a day or two, then that will give us a day or two more to evacuate people, because we are really down to hours now, not weeks, and we have to make sure we exploit every minute to get people out.
Everybody in the water.
The smiles of just 2 months ago have long since disappeared. Back when G7 leaders last met face-to-face in Cornwall, back when they released a joint communique on Afghanistan, saying they were, quote, determined to maintain our support for the Afghan government as they seek to preserve hard-won rights and freedoms. How much sway does the UK and other members of the G7 have over the US going into tomorrow's meeting?
I think quite a lot, actually. I think America has been taken by surprise, not only by the speed of events on the ground in Afghanistan, but about how angry so many of US close allies have been about what has happened. And I think they're going to do everything they can to be accommodating. That being said, we've seen that the Taliban has rejected extending the deadline. So, this is just going to be a constant negotiation.
Night and day, freedom flights land in the UK. 6,631 souls delivered to safety in the last week alone. But the questions for tomorrow: how long more can they continue? How many more lives made safe? Look, you heard Ben Wallace, the Defence Secretary there, talk about hours. That is no exaggeration. Talking to people in Downing Street and the Ministry of Defence today, there is a real sense of urgency. Where we are at the moment, if there is no agreement at the G7 meeting tomorrow, as the timetable stands on the 31st of August, that is next Tuesday, all US and UK and alliance forces need to be out of Afghanistan. But that doesn't mean that the mercy missions evacuating people out of Afghanistan will continue up until that point. There are almost 1,000 UK troops in Kabul. There's Ministry of Defence staff, there is Foreign Office staff, and there is a whole load of equipment. Insiders at the Ministry of Defence told me this afternoon that they're working on an evacuation programme of around 70 hours. So that's just under 3 days. And of course, working back from that, that brings you to the end of this week. But of course, as we know, as everyone is at pains to say today, it is the US that controls Kabul airport. It is the US that provides safety to Kabul airport. The last missions to come out of Kabul airport will be the US. So we are looking at the very real prospect that those evacuation flights end within the next couple of days, unless there is some agreement made tomorrow at the G7, which of course then needs agreement by the Taliban. And every day, even if extension is only 1 day, that is thousands of lives which could be saved. That's why there's this urgency.